Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Race number 2 for Sunday Night Speed here at Volusia Speedway. We've got the Slideways Karting Center Midgets taking to the racing surface. Little pre-race practice going on. Fastest car on the track right now, Kenneth Drake in the number 1 machine. A lap time of 16.964 seconds. Martin Karch second. 17.264, the best lap time for Martin in the 3-car. Jacob Williams right now, third quick, a 17.290 there in the 32 machine. Rick Gibson. Actually looks like Ronald Piles there, shuffling the order just a little bit. Piles up to second with a 17.194. And now Rick Gibson second with a 17.159. And now Philip Temple second with a 17.112. Nobody really catching Kenneth Drake right now, though. Drake, a 16.672 second lap. Still pre-race practice here with the Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midgets at Volusia Speedway. Once again, broadcast live on our YouTube page from raceontexas.com. If you're tuning in, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Night number 2, the second edition of Sunday Night Speed here with the American Short Track Association. These midgets promise to be a wild race here at the Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midgets. These things are definitely a handful. Not a lot of forward bite out of the midgets here. It's all about the side bite. The car's very sideways to the corners. We're looking at Martin Karch right now, and Karch going all the way around there in turn number 2. Kenneth Drake, still the fastest car in pre-race practice, a 16.672. Kenneth's best effort right now. Rick Gibson now second with a 16.916 there in the 38 machine. Philip Temple, 6th quick in the 19 car, just coming off a win in the ASTA Dirt Street Stock feature. Philip has picked up 4 races in a row in American Short Track Association competition. Swept our Thursday night events, Thunder on Thursday. All 3 races going to the driver of the 19 machine. Oh, and Philip gonna loop it right in front of 2 other guys. Looks like Brian Neff and the Winn-Dixie 60 going around. And the 69 of Tim DeZwart being collected there also. "13 cars right now signed in for action with the Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midgets. Drake, still your quickest car in pre-race practice. He's pulling back out onto the racetrack right now. Let's go for a ride in the car. We'll take a quick trip here around the half-mile oval at Volusia Speedway Park. Once again, we are on board with Kenneth Drake off of turn number 4 down the front stretch. We just went for one of the quicker laps of the night, ladies and gentlemen, at 16.955, the lap time there for Kenneth Drake. You can see sawing on the wheel through turns 3 and 4, trying to keep this thing as straight as possible. Still atop the pre-race practice standings. Rick Gibson in second spot right now, 16.813, Rick's best lap. The track seems to be slowing down quite a bit here as it gets a little bit more filled. Gibson that time the only car in the 16-second bracket, 16.815.
Sorry if I got into you.
Looks like 13 cars signed in for action once again. That's going to be the checker flag for practice. Kenneth Drake, the quickest car, 16.672. Quick time here around Volusia Speedway Park with the Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midgets. Should be getting ready to go heat racing here in just a moment. From Volusia Speedway Park. 13 cars signed in once again. I'm sure we'll have 2 heat races. You're tuning in live at raceontexas.com. Through our YouTube page, we want to thank you very much for joining us this evening. Looks like the car's hitting the track for heat race number 1. A good range of drivers here signed in for competition this weekend. On Sunday night, speed and leading the pack to the racetrack going to be the 32 of Jacob Williams. The 19 of Philip Temple is going to be outside row number 1. Brett Rawls going to be inside the second row in the 17. He'll be alongside the 111 of Cody McKnight. The number 1 car, Kenneth Drake, going to be inside the third row alongside Nicholas Wing in the Quaker State number 99. Once again, a good range of drivers here signed in this evening. We've got a rookie driver on dirt and a couple of D-class drivers, a couple C-class guys, some Bs and As. A good range of competition here with the American Short Track Association and the Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midgets. You're only as good as the competition, and the only way to get better is to race against guys like these. Some great drivers here with the American Short Track Association. We should be getting ready to go green off of turn number 4. Green flag is out. We're underway with heat race number 1 of the Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midgets here at Volusia Speedway Park. Jacob Williams leads the field through turns 1 and 2. Good battle for the second spot, shaping up behind him already. Look at Brett Rawls on the bottom trying to get underneath the 19 machine of Philip Temples. Rawls going to take over second spot. Temples getting together with Kenneth Drake. Drake gathers it back up, slings the car down into turn number 1. Williams is still your leader. Oh, and your leader goes around. Jacob Williams upside down in turn number 3. Trying to roll the car back over. That's going to give the lead to Brett Rawls. Second spot is now Kenneth Drake. Drake got a good run going with Philip Temples, your winner in the Dirt Street Stock main event. Oh, second and third get together. Both of them going to have a good save there on their hands. Drake going to get around for the second spot. Rawls is your leader out front in the 17 machine. A sizable margin over second spot. Rawls with about a straightaway advantage down the back chute into turn number 3. Going to be 5 laps complete this time by. Back down into turn number 1. 110 miles an hour for your leader coming into turn number 3. And it looks like 6 up and 6 down, and that should do it for heat race number 1. The win going to go to Brett Rawls. Philip Temples there in second spot. Brett Rawls grabbing the win in Slideways Karting Center Midget Heat Race number 1. Philip Temples coming across the line there in second. Heat race number 1 in the books. Heat race number 2 going to be rolling out here in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like if everybody makes the call, we'll have 7 here in heat race number 2. The 45 of Michael Massey going to be on the inside of the front row. Massey going to be joined on the outside by the 38 of Rick Gibson. Second row back on the inside, Brian Neff going to be piloting the Winn-Dixie 60. He'll be next door to the 69 of Tim DeSwart from Knoxville, Iowa. Martin Karch going to be inside row number 3. And last week's feature winner with the Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midgets, Ronald Piles going to line up outside of the 3rd row. So 6 cars going to be getting ready to go. Green flag off of turn number 4. Looks like we're underway. Massey going to lead the field down into the first set of corners. And off of turn 2, look on the outside as Rick Gibson makes the pass on the top side of the racetrack, leads the field down into turn number 3. Massey going to try to put a slider on him in the second set of corners. It's not going to be enough. Gibson going to lead lap number 1. Massey in second spot. Karch is third. Ronald Piles right now in the 4th position. Tim DeSwart 5th, and Brian Neff rounding out the field in 6th spot. We got a good battle shaping up for second now, with Massey having to deal with Martin Karch. Karch going to put a slider on Michael Massey through turns 3 and 4. Takes over the second spot, but here comes the 68 of Ronald Piles. Door to door with Martin Karch through the first set of corners. They're wheel to wheel now into turn number 3. And Piles going to put a slider on Karch to take over the second spot. Ronald Piles now into the 2nd position. Your leader is still Rick Gibson. Gibson also the quickest car in heat racing so far, a 16.908 second lap out of Rick Gibson. 4 laps complete that time by for the 38 machine. Still your leader, almost a straightaway advantage over Ronald Piles in 2nd spot, Martin Karch in 3rd. 5 down, should be 1 more lap to go, and we'll wrap up heat race number 2 for the Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midgets here at Volusia Speedway Park. Off of turn 4 for the final time. Gibson going to take the win. Piles going to be in 2nd spot. 3rd spot going to go to Martin Karch. And that'll be the podium for heat race number 2. We're going to turn these drivers loose here for a little bit of pre-feature practice. Get some more hot laps out on the racetrack as the racetrack is changing all night long. The longer we race, the drier it's going to get. That groove will move around. Rick Gibson, the quickest car of the night so far, a 16.908 second lap, at least in the heat racing sessions. We're going to turn them loose here for some pre-feature hot laps. And we'll be right back with the 30-lap main event of the Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midgets here at Volusia Speedway Park. Once again, if you're tuning in live with us through raceontexas.com YouTube, streaming live at YouTube, thank you so very much for doing so. We hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. We're going to be going live here in just a few moments with the 30-lap main event. again, folks, a little bit of pre-feature practice going on here at Volusia Speedway Park with the American Short Track Association's Sunday Night Speed. Right now, we are featuring the Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midgets. Night number 2 of Sunday Night Speed here with Race on Texas and the ASTA, American Short Track Association. Once again, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about this group and what they're all about, which is having fun while doing some iRacing, you can check out their website at americanshorttrack.blogspot.com. You can see what all series they run, keep up with winner pictures. The point standings are also on the website, I do believe. And you can learn a little bit more about these guys, what they're all about. They welcome pretty much anyone and everyone to join us here in the iRacing service. You can also learn a little bit more about iRacing by going to iRacing.com. Find out how you can get a subscription, what all that entails, and what it's going to take to get you out on the track on Sunday night, Tuesday night, and Thursday night if you want to compete with the ASTA, the American Short Track Association. Sunday Night Speed, Track Night Tuesday, and Thunder on Thursday. Week number 2, the beginning of week number 2 for broadcast with Race on Texas. We are very excited, Scott Bargeloff and myself, Nick Robbins, to be bringing you the action 3 nights a week from the comfort of your own home during the racing off season here. More minutes here in the practice session for these drivers before we get ready for the 30-lap main event. The Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midgets here at Volusia Speedway Park. We've got one more race on the ticket this evening after this one, and that will be the ASTA UMP Dirt Modifieds from right here at Volusia Speedway Park. This race last weekend won by the 68 machine of Ronald Piles. Piles going 2 for 3 on Sunday night last weekend, also picking up the Dirt Street Stock main event. And in the ASTA UMP Modified feature being won by Martin Karch. Kenneth Drake, once again, fastest in practice, a 16.789 second effort from the one machine. Sitting atop the leaderboard right now. And once we roll out the main event, you'll see them grid up in order of their lap times, because right now iRacing is viewing this as a long qualifying session. Even though we ran heat races with the ASTA Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midgets, the iRacing software not registering those heat races and just keeping track of lap times. We're going to line them up according to those lap times, and then once the green flag drops, you'll see the drivers shuffle around and get into running order per their heat race finishes, and we'll turn them loose for the 30-lap main event here at Volusia Speedway Park. Once again, the Dirt Midgets this evening brought to you by Slideways Karting Center out of Knoxville, Iowa. If you're ever up that way for either the Knoxville Nationals or just some great dirt track racing at Knoxville Raceway, go on down the road just a little bit, just outside of town, and stop by the Slideways Karting Center. If you're up there, you're watching this broadcast, you ever make it up that way, tell them thanks so much for supporting the American Short Track Association and Sunday Night Speed. We are getting ready to go with the 30-lap main event for the Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midgets here at Volusia Speedway Park. Car is griding up right now for that main event. Once again, these midgets, absolutely a handful. One of my personal favorite cars to drive in iRacing, about 900 pounds in real life, 300 or so horsepower underneath the hood. So a definite handful. One of the twitchier race cars, I would say. A very short wheelbase, a lot of horsepower. Definitely much more suited to the smaller tracks, a Kokomo or a Lima Land, or possibly even a Lanier Motor Speedway. But Volusia Speedway Park, a big racetrack for these cars, and takes a special kind of care to wheel one of these midgets at speed around Volusia Speedway Park. We're going to find out who can make it work here in the 30-lap Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midget main event. Once again, last week picking up the win at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It was the 68 of Ronald Piles. Ronald going to be looking to double up. Had a good run in the ASTA Street Stocks just a moment ago. Had to start in the back, worked his way up to a 5th place run. So great drive from the driver out of Kingwood, West Virginia. As we get rolling here, gonna roll around the half-mile racetrack here at Volusia behind the iRacing pace truck there, iRacing.com pace truck. As soon as the pace truck leaves the racetrack and we get the green flag, we'll shuffle the drivers into the appropriate position. We'll get them lined up according to the results from their heat races. Then turn them loose once again for 30 laps here around Volusia Speedway Park.
Green, green, green.
There's the pace truck leaving the racetrack, ladies and gentlemen, and then we will shuffle the drivers around. Get them set to go. Looks like on the pole, going to be the 17, Mr. Brett Rolls. He'll be joined on the outside by the 38 of Rick Gibson. To the front row, the 17 of Rawls, and then the 38 of Gibson. The next row back going to be the 1 car of Kenneth Drake on the inside, the 68 of Ronald Piles to the outside. Michael Massey and Martin Karch going to make up row number 3. Jacob Williams and Tim DeSwart, row number 4. Nicholas Wing and Brian Neff, row number 5. And Philip Temples by himself, number 6. 11 cars making the call for the 30-lap main event from Volusia Speedway Park. Should be getting ready to take the green this time off of turn number 4. Be 3 laps complete when we cross the start-finish line. 27 laps to go. Brett Rawls leads the field. Down into turn number 1 off of turn 2. Gibson in second spot. Piles is third. Kenneth Drake in fourth. Martin Karch rounds out the top 5. Gibson trying to close the gap. Now it's 3 laps complete. 27 to go. A 0.251 second advantage for your leader, Brett Rawls. Gibson still second. Powell still third. Then it's fourth with Kenneth Drake, and Martin Karch rounds out the top 5. Good battle going on for 6 there with Michael Massey and Tim DeZwart. Massey. Oh, Massey going to loop it at the top of turn number 2.
The yellow flag is out.
DeZwart with nowhere to go. That's going to bring us our first caution. Caution flag going to come out. 5 laps complete that time around. Rawls out front. Gibson in second. Piles is now, Piles still third. Fourth still belongs to Kenneth Drake. Fifth still belongs to Martin Karch. Tim DeZwart now 6th. Jacob Williams 7th. Nicholas Wing, Michael Massey, Brian Neff, and Philip Temples rounding out the field. Like Philip Temple's still on pit lane right now. In pit lane. Be 7 laps complete this time. We cross the stripe. We're still behind the iRacing.com official pace truck. We'll get set to go here in just a moment. And we work our way down the backstretch. Once again, the Slideways Karting Center, Dirt Midgets, from the American Short Track Association, brought to you live tonight by RaceOnTexas.com. We are streaming live through our YouTube channel. Tonight we are bringing you the action from Volusia Speedway Park with the American Short Track Association. Waiting on the pace truck to leave
Green
the
flag,
track.
green
Looks like
flag.
he's done so. We are back underway. Rawls going to lead him back down the front boulevard into turn number 1. A good battle for seconds. We come into turn number 1. Gibson out front. Now the battle is for third with Kenneth Drake on the outside of Ronald Piles. Drake has to recorrect the car through the middle of turns 3 and 4. And Gibson with a good run off the 4th corner. Now look to the outside as we come into turn number 1, trying to take over that first spot. Oh, we got
The
2
yellow
of them
flag
crossed
is
up.
out.
Gonna have another yellow on the racetrack. Martin Karch looked like maybe getting together there with Kenneth Drake. Karch goes around and collects Tim DeZwart in turn number 2. Kenneth Drake getting a little bit sideways there in turn number 2. Martin Karch with nowhere to go. One of them racing deals, ladies and gentlemen, that happens quite a bit here in the world of dirt track racing. Once again, Martin Karch and Tim DeZwart getting tangled up there after the contact with Drake and Karch. And DeZwart, unfortunately, finds himself in the pit area. Rawls still going to be your leader in the 17 car.
Green flag, green flag.
Back green flag off of turn number 4, ladies and gentlemen. 13 down, 17 to go, and Piles almost beats it there in turn number 1. Back in the 68 machine into turn number 1 to try to take over the second spot. That's going to close up the action there for third. Now Kenneth Drake right on the tail tank through turns 3 and 4. Rawls still your leader. Gibson still in second. Piles now having to deal with the one machine of Kenneth Drake. Drake going to get around and take over that third spot. Kenneth Drake now on the podium. Ronald Piles in fourth. And Brian Neff, a good run for the Winn-Dixie 60. Right now duking it out with Martin Karch for the fifth spot. It looks like Karch going to take it over out of turn number 4. Oh, your leader! Almost all the way out of the throttle. Gibson right there on the tail tank now. Down the backstretch, looks to the inside of turn number 3. Rick Gibson going to put a slide job on Brett Rawls and take over the top spot off of 4. Here comes Rawls back on the outside. Brett Rawls going to lead lap number 16 at the stripe. Gibson now getting around cleanly, takes over the top spot into turn number 3. Rawls going to look underneath through the second set of corners. Not going to have enough to get it done. Rick Gibson leads lap number 17. Gibson out front, down the backstretch. We've now got a good battle for second spot. Brett Rawls and Ronald Piles racing pretty much nose to tail through the second set of corners. We come back down the front boulevard. It's still Gibson out front. But the battle on the racetrack is the one for second spot. Here comes Piles on the inside of turn number 2. Rawls right up. Oh, and Rawls upside down.
The yellow flag
Brett
is out.
Rawls was running in second spot, racing with Ronald Piles, unfortunately rolling the 17 machine in the second set of corners, and that is going to give us another yellow. 19 laps complete that time around. We are going to go on board with Brett Rawls and watch that replay from the cockpit. And you can see exactly what has happened, or what had happened in the cockpit of the 17 car. A tough break for Rawls. Was leading. And then on the restart, Rick Gibson getting around and then having to do battle with the 68 of Ronald Piles. And Rawls just, unfortunately, the right rear shocks in these cars very, very soft. And it just rolls over after a little bit of contact with the wall. And Rawls, unfortunately, not going to be a contender in this one. This is going to be a single file restart, ladies and gentlemen. 21 laps complete. It'll be 22 complete next time by the stripe. Looks like we're going green off of 4. Gibson, Piles, and Drake, your top 3. Gibson better be on the lookout for the 68 of Ronald Piles. He was your Slideways Karting Center feature winner 1 week ago at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And looking to the inside now. Off of turn number 4, not going to be enough. Gibson leads lap number 23. 23 down and 7 to go. For the Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midgets here at Volusia Speedway Park. Into turn 3 once again. The lead at the stripe. Last time a .337 second advantage for Rick Gibson. This time around, .362, a little bit bigger. We got Brian Neff now into the wall in turn number 1. That's probably going to be another yellow. Yes, indeed. The yellow flag going to come out for the 60, the Winn-Dixie 60. Brian Neff upside down in turn number 1. And it looks like there's some contact between Michael Massey and the 60 car, Brian Neff. Neff, unfortunately, getting into the wall, going upside down in turn number 1. Was running in the 5th position at the time of the incident. Gonna be close, ladies and gentlemen. We may finish this one under caution. I'm not entirely sure. It may be a mad dash to the finish of this race, but nonetheless, Rick Gibson is out in front in the 38 machine. Best lap, a 17.242. Ronald Piles in second in the 68 car. Third spot belongs to Kenneth Drake. The 4th spot is Martin Karch. Michael Massey now rounding out the top 5. Jacob Williams and Nicholas Wing rounding out the field. "27 laps complete that time by the start-finish line." We may very well be looking to go green here, this time off of 4. Field still behind the iRacing.com pace truck as we come into turn number 3. And the pace track leaving the racetrack. It's going to be a 2-lap dash to the finish. 28 in the books and 2 to go as we come back into turn number 1. Rick Gibson going to lead the field. I do believe they're almost 3 wide right behind him. They're through turns 1 and 2. We're into turn number 3 now. 29 going to be complete this time by the white flag is out for Gibson in the 38 machine. Ronald Pyle still in second. Kenneth Drake a good run in the 1 machine. Martin Karch now trying to get around him and take over that 3rd spot to make the podium. 1 more set of corners for your leader. Into turn number 3 for the final time. Pyle's looking to the bottom. It's not going to be enough. Martin Karch will get around. Kenneth Drake for 3rd. The win gonna go to Rick Gibson in the 38 machine. Ronald Piles will be 2nd. Martin Karch gonna round out the podium in 3rd spot. Ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna bring the Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midget feature to a close here at Volusia Speedway Park. Rick Gibson, originally out of El Paso, Texas, currently stationed with the U.S. Navy in Jacksonville, Florida. Getting the win here in the Slideways Karting Center. Main event here for the Dirt Midgets at Volusia Speedway Park. We'll get Rick in the press box and get a real quick interview with him. Rick, you got a copy, brother?
I sure do, guys.
Congrats, brother. Good job on the win tonight in the Slideways Karting Center main event for the Dirt Midgets. What's it feel like? How's it feel to get a win out there?
It feels good, especially after last week coming up short, and after such a great street stock race, it's good to finally get in the victory lane.
Yeah, you were the victim of bad luck a couple of times last weekend. Definitely looking for some redemption, brother. I think you found it, parking it here in victory lane at Volusia. You had some tough racing going on behind you. You know, Ronald Piles got 2 wins last weekend, and you can't ever really count him out. The dude's hungry all the time, and he was running you down. Had a good run going there, but just ran out of time. The cautions help out a little bit tonight.
Yeah, they sure did. It was unfortunate for Brett. He actually had some technical difficulties. He was running without sound before he kind of got out there. But yeah, it's always fun running with these guys. A lot of them are real good guys, real fast guys, and race hard, race clean. So it's always a great time to run with these guys.
Absolutely a fantastic time running with this group for sure. Rick, who helps you out on the race car, man?
I guess right now would be Har Motorsports. I just jumped on board with them this weekend, so they've been helping me out past couple of weeks and everything. So I want to thank them. I also want to thank Massey, Tim, Martin for putting this on, and thank you guys for broadcasting and doing what you guys do. It's some awesome coverage.
Thanks a lot, brother. We've really enjoyed ourselves, and I want to thank you for serving this nation. I understand you're stationed in Jacksonville, Florida, by way of El Paso, Texas, with the Navy. Thanks so much for what you do, man. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir, and thank you for everything. It's, yeah, I greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. We're going to see you out here for modified competition, Rick?
Oh, I think I'll try and make it out here. I'm pretty sure I'll run it.
Good deal. We'll see you in just a few minutes, brother. Congrats once again, and good luck in the ASTA UMP Modified coming up.
Yeah, thanks, bud. I appreciate it, and we'll see you guys then.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, race number 2 of Sunday Night Speed in the books. Once again, congrats to Rick Gibson grabbing the win, holding off a hard-charging Ronald Piles there in second spot. Martin Karch getting around on the last corner of the last lap to crack that podium and take home the 3rd position. That's going to wrap it up for the Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midgets. We'll be right back in just a few moments with the American Short Track Association UMP Dirt Modifieds from Volusia Speedway.